How you guys doing? Hey, I'm doing John, and as I said, and idle time. How you guys doing? Hey, Clyde, how you doing, man? Hey, Clyde, I have a question. I thought I sent a message or something. I made a phone call about the version of the Jaeger-LeCoultre and that Van Cleef and Arpels that you have. That's a cool one. Okay, I'll give you a call then. Let's see. Hey, Junior, good to see you. Good to see you up. Indrajit, did you call? Did you contact Marco and get an answer to your question? We're dependent on you, man. Let's see. Hey, Bruce, Roar the Tiger. Hi, Watch Habit. Good to see you guys. Okay. Um, Today, what I want to do is to talk about what we're doing with our watch collection, other than buying and trading watches. Um, I go through my rotation and sort of enjoy time a watch comes up in a rotation and sort of like it all over again. And then I got my uh, loops to to look at them and so forth. And I was wondering, what else do we do with them now? You go to work and you have a lot of other stuff you're doing in your lives. Um, but there's the watch collection, the hobby. And I was just curious as to what do you do? I mean, usually once a year we'd go to the Watch Time show in New York and get to see a lot of folks face to face. We have these kinds of chats that we can talk about our watches. The punters have one on Sunday afternoon that they go over and they look at watches and talk about different kinds of things. But I was wondering, outside of that, you're hanging out at your house or apartment or wherever, and you're thinking, I'm going to take a look at my watch. One of the things that I got, hang on a second. Yeah. That I sort of like to do. I got a loop system. Hi, Dominic. Um, and the thing I like about this is that it comes with a sort of an attachment, and I can take that attachment and put it on my iPhone and take pictures with it. I'm not very good at it, but I do my best, and so I try to take getting the thing focused just right and stuff. So let's hear from you guys. What are some of the stuff you're doing? Oh, good. Okay, Indrajit. Thank you, man. That was, that's an important thing for us all to do. I mean, if we got a question about something, it's always good to go to the horse's mouth to find out about it. Hi, Mikey 2T. Um, so what are some of the stuff? What are some of the Watts things that you do? By the way, too, this is my Frederick the Second. It's the 10th one made. It's number 10, and it was by Marco Lang when he was at Lang and Heim. And this is a watch that I enjoy a lot because one of the things I can do with it that's a lot of fun is that I can look at the back of it. I mean, here you can see all of the movement. This is why I like this kind of thing. It's funny because I don't like skeletonized from the front, except in certain ones. The MBNF and some of the other ones have sort of part of the movement right there, and it's not skeletonized. They sort of have half on the front, and then you turn it over, and there's half on the back. So that's always fun to play with. Also, too, learning about it. I mean, learning about my watches. What I had, and I probably ought to sort of refix it up because when I change computers or something, I always seem to lose it. And this is, I keep detailed information about a watch. This one watch that I have was one of the early ones I got in a collection, is the Vacheron Constantin, 1972, and the when you go, you register it. It was fried. The I got it from someplace in I think it was Virginia, and yeah, I had no information on it, had no papers, nothing with it, but it was in great shape. And so I had to find out about it had the Frederick Piguet movement and all of this stuff. So I wrote all of this stuff down and have it on a little text file. And so when I want to bring it up, it comes up. But one of the things that it took a watchmaker to find, and that is the movement number. For some reason, the I was at the Vacheron Constantin shop in New York at their boutique, and the watchmaker was there. They got this guy there. If you're ever in New York and you have a Vacheron Constantin you want him to take a look at, that guy is really good. And a lot of times he'll just do it and no charge. It's the best kind. Anyway, so so those are some of the things I play around with this, look at it, keep records on it, sort of create my own watch collection bureaucracy so I can look up stuff. But you do that once, and it's unless, I lost one recently, so I'll have to go back and do it. But that's another thing. So let's see, what are you guys up to? I like taking pictures of my watches. I make a day every week to polish cases, wind mechanical, and grease leather straps. Grease them, huh? Oh, that's cool. What do you grease them with, Abdul? I use the neat foot oil on it. I guess you grease them up. You get a big old can of grease and a paintbrush in them. That would be cool. Hi, Sirius Kidney or Kinney. Cirrus McKinney. Hi, Cirrus. Let's see. Hey, Nafrion. Okay, let's see. I'm doing. Oh, good. Good to hear you're doing well, Junior. Okay, okay. Um, Rockridge. Okie doke. So, what are some of the other things we can talk about? That I mean, you got. Um, I like finding out more and more stuff when I get or reading books about it. I have that Derek Platt book that I want to read, and then I have the Art of Breguet by George Daniels on order, and I should be getting it next month. Some of you guys already had that, so I can read about it. That's another thing you can do. I like to wind my watches once a week. Yeah, that's that I used to do that. I probably ought to. I try to rotate them enough so I can do that. Winding them, winding a watch. A lot of people complain about that, but I think it's one of the coolest things you can do because you look at it, and you take a closer look and you see if there are any nicks or this or that. I don't use any special polish on my watches. I'm afraid to, quite frankly. I use here's a little polishing cloth from Rolf Lang that I got. When I sent him the watch back, I kept the polishing cloth. He had some more. But that's one thing I like to do. I'll polish them up every time I put them on. The other thing too, it sort of sounds like sort of funny, but in addition to shining up the watch, I shine up the band too. You just give it a little like that, and it's it makes a difference. Rep 10 is a cool name. Okay. I think a more prescient question is, are you ever truly done with a collection? Ever truly done with a collection? Hi, Tony. Hi, Koji. I'm changing the subject. uh, yeah, Clyde, that's a good point. I mean, are you ever done with a collection? I think when you're done with your collection, you're done with watch collection pretty much. There's always, I guess there's probably be a certain point where, uh, uh, say, oh, I got enough watches. But r- what I have, at least I'm starting to find out, I've got these watches I just don't wear, and I do every now and then, but only, out of sort of I feel obliged to wear the watch because it's part of my collection. And so I've been thinking more and more, well, instead of I'm going to sell some of these watches, and of course, what would I do with the money? Buy more watches. I know it sounds sort of crazy, but there are a number of watches that I'm going, well, not a whole lot, but a few of them that I'm going to sell. I like them, it's fine, but I just don't. They're early part of my collection and so forth. And some of the later ones, I really enjoy more, and so I wear more. And so as a result, I'm going to start selling. I have already, as a matter of fact. I try to sell or gift a couple of pieces of a collection every 6 months so I can get more watches without feeling too bad. Yeah, I have my conscience left me a long time ago. I think it got eaten up on Madison Avenue. It got mugged. Regarding polishing cloths, does anyone have experience with Cape Cod? I do. Uh, Cape Cod, they soak the Cape Cod things in a polishing solution, and I guess if you're going to use Cape Cod, here's what I would suggest, Koji, is you get a watch like here's my $200 watch from China, and I like my watch a lot. It's a regulator, but if you're going to work with Cape Cod, take it and really polish up one of your older watches. Uh, I like I said, I'm very afraid of chemicals and so on and so forth on gold. I've seen our platinum. They charge me an arm and a leg to have my platinum FP Journe polished when I took it in for service, and I mean a lot, just almost an incredible amount. And ever since then, I'll just oh, this is all the polish it's going to get. I'm not going to risk it. I've had a friend got a watch, a gold watch. And in fact, it was an FP Journe. And something had happened with the gold. The gold came off in a certain way. So you got to be careful. I wonder if you discovered that your taste and preference have changed after having experienced certain watches. Yeah, I have. I have. Hi, Javier. Where there? Hey, Texpat. Hey, Jr. How you doing, man? I was hoping you'd drop by this morning. Great to see you. Um, okay, what about that? Do your taste change? You know what I think happens is that the more you learn about watches, the more you learn of ones you'd like to have. So that that I think can affect your taste. I think you're right, though. It's a good point, Clyde. What happens when I started, I probably like everyone else, you go after big brand names like I started off with the Patek Philippe and Vacheron Constantin, and then I even got a Audemars Piguet, which I ended up not liking that much, and so I traded it in. But um, yeah, I think your taste changes somewhat, and mine certainly have. It's funny. There's certain watches now. I just, for some reason, I guess, I just don't like Patek Philippe anymore. Some of the older ones I like a lot, but ever since they started putting silicon in the balance springs and the escapement, I know, it's a metalloid and it's on the periodic table of elements. Silicon is, but there's something about it that just, nah. I wish they hadn't have done that. I really do. So if I the one of my favorite Patek Philippe's is the 5124. Now I just can't get the enthusiasm to go get one, and they're wonderful, beautiful watches. But you take them back one step to the 5024. They look a lot like the same, but they have those circular movements rather than the shape movements. Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those things that probably me more than anything else. It's just one of those things. Okay, let's see. I think most of us go through collecting phases. I had a phase of collecting divers or vintage field watches or dressed with watch face. Yeah, one phase I don't think I ever got out of is I sort of have a big preference for dress watches, or what they're called dress watches. I think they're more like office watches. Hey, Tim, how you doing, man? Do you got that Quadrille that you got? God, I love that watch. That's one I've always liked and never got yet. One of these days, and then I'm watching everybody buying them all up. Pretty soon there won't be any left. Hi, Gilberto. There were a few watches brands that I was amazed at first, but the more I learned, and the more, yeah, yeah, same here, Gilberto. A lot, same here. That happened to me too. Yeah, I mean, I used to think that Breitling and Tag Heuer were the be all and end all of watches because I used to be a pilot, and I'd get up and we'd come through and there was the pilot shop and they had these Tag Heuers and Breitlings there for sale. I thought, oh man, I wish I could have one of those. Y- One of the few things more expensive than watch collections is airplanes. We had we spent $500 a month on that thing even before we took off. And there's so many things to get for an airplane. I'll tell you. Hey, Flippin' Zippo, how you doing? Hi, Dwayne. Uh, yeah, I know. Yeah, Tim got this great buy at Walmart on a Vacheron Constantin. I love that story. Um, hey, Stephen. Stephen, is it Garassi? Ah, from Staten Island. How are things in Staten Island? Still love the Tag Carrier 5. I love steel sports watches, but nothing beats the classic dress watch on a nice leather strap. I agree. But I tell you, I finally come around. I really, really like my Easy Diver. Love my Easy Diver, except for one thing that I got one with the strap was just a little too small, and they got those blasted rubber straps on them. So I'm gonna have to have one made or something. Or next time I go to New York, talk to the guy there and see if I can get one at the Roger Dubuis shop. Who knows? Let's see. When we start out, most likely we have a checklist of what we'd like to have, and then a list gets, yeah, yeah, that's true. Hey, Sarah McKinley, I personally think that the term dress and sports watches should be rebranded business and leisure. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we can call them what we want. We're collectors. We don't have to go along with the official name, but I like that too. Yeah, leisure watch and or informal. There's certain watches. One of the things I like about, I think it was called Hermes H08. That seemed to be one of those watches that you could really do a good job with as a sports watch, leisure watch. I like that. Informal watch or a dress watch. You put and I like the idea of having bands. You can different bands for different occasions. You put on a nice skater band for date night, and then have a sort of a field watch kind of textile band for other kinds of things. Okay, let's see what else is. Hey, Tony. I'm still a bit partial to Tag. My wife bought me a Aqua Racer about 12 years ago. I wear it off, and yeah, that's another thing. I used to wear my overseas. I had a 37 millimeter OS1 Vacheron Constantin overseas. Wore that thing every day. Love that watch. The the band on that particular model always popped open, so I was always walking around at work, and I had that thing on, and it would pop open, and I just tap it, and it would go right back again. But I love that watch, and it had a See on the back, it had a picture of a sailing ship. It was you couldn't see the movement. The movement was I think it was a fixed up Girard-Perregaux that they had in the early one. This is why I like the new what I call a six horn overseas in the Guadalil so much is that they have that they went through and they did all of this work on this great movement. And why I keep telling you guys about it and what such a good deal it is, and then not get one myself, I don't know. There's something wrong with me. Which maybe it's because I'm retired and I associate it with work. Let's see, among the watch community I've been at, the prevailing tendency among collectors is usually to buy a lot at first and then trim down the number. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, yeah. There's certain ones that you see. There's certain ones I know about that I really want, and I don't think about it. But then, if something really good deal comes up, I'll try to get it. That happened to me with that Urban Jurgensen. I mean, that was a watch, particularly the one I got was one that was just out of reach, period, and it was almost at half price, and I that was too good to pass up. But then they came along with the Alfred and in steel, and that's a heck of a good buy. And so that's another kind of thing, when you get one, you discover another, and then you find out about it and how much is involved in it. Spaced out at start time. Andrew, that's the best time to space out with this with this stream. Don't waste time, space out right away. Hey, let's see. 30s Big Eyes Hoyer. Yeah, I think I probably told you this story a million times. There was a guy who was a collector, and he collected Tag Heuer. They were very inexpensive ones, but they had this one model that came in all these different colors, and he loved to collect all the different colors. So he had this collection of Tag Heuers. He just was, knocked himself out with that stuff, and he really enjoyed it. And I think that's the important thing about it is that you find something you like and you enjoy looking at it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the resale value, doesn't matter what everybody else thinks or anybody else thinks. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I mean, it's like, there's no like court with a high judge saying, you gotta, a little Invicta. It doesn't matter. A Struhort or whatever they're called. I've heard these people that get really upset. How can you like something that I don't like? That's crazy. I mean, that's almost like, it's getting a little obsessive, I think. So anyway, I rattle on about that, but it's they're watches we'd all like to have. I think we'd all like to have a Philippe Dufour or Roger Smith, and none of us can afford it. So what? That doesn't mean we have to stop collecting watches. Maybe something will come along. Somebody will inherit a Roger Smith, and they want to, get some quick money, and they want to sell it to you for $1,000. Would I hesitate? Not a chance. Okay. Oh, okay. So you got a Heuer, a pre-tag Heuer. Yeah, tag stands for, it's abbreviation for techno something something something. But Heuer was around for a long time before that. There is one. It's called. I think we've talked about this before. It's called the a Sin-dialed Heuer. This one I really would love to have one of those. What happened was that there was this crazy contract that Heuer had with the post World War II German Air Force, and then they had another contract with Sin to do the service on them. And so what would happen is that after when a Heuer watch needed servicing, they'd send it to Sin. Well, after a while, Sin started sending them back with their own dial, and so you'd have this Sin dial on a Heuer watch, a Sin-dialed Heuer, and they're fun. That would be a wonderful one to have, just because it's so weird. And I've looked at them closely, and they're not the prettiest watch I've ever seen, but just sort of the story behind it makes it an interesting watch in a way that You know, it's sort of the same way I like the, where it is, I like the, Jacquet 736 because old Jacquet had to had to go to the big house, but he made this watch, this movement that was very, very cool, and, I find it on different watches every now and then and grab one. "Hey, Howard, how you doing?" Carol, Frosty Kapasov, the former head and higher-end customs and exclusive division she was the head of Cartier, stuff, and movements and so forth. I was trying to follow up on some of her stuff the other day, and I was looking at Cartier, and they have another woman who's the head of it, and man, she looks like she looks like a serious person who really knows the fashion industry, and somebody who really really is out of the kind of that main character in The Devil Wears Prada, where it's just I'm a like a fashion expert. And I was reading some of the stuff that they were having, and ever since Carol left or does something else, I don't know what she's doing now, but they I was reading one of the critics are saying that most of the Cartier buyers they could care less about the movement, and they're right. I mean, you get a movement in there, you could put a hamster on a running wheel in a Cartier. Most of the people could care less what you have for a movement. But she did some things, and I think some of the watch movements that came out of Val Fleurier and went into Cartier's Piaget and the 56 Vacheron Constantin may have been uh, their origin may have been with her. So she's a yeah. I'd like to find out what she's up to now, and I tried to, and I couldn't. My watch preferences have changed significantly since joining High Horology Lounge, being exposed to so many watch brands that you don't normally get. Yeah, um, I think, as I say, variety is the spice of life, and I believe that. But along with that, though, I think that discovering the a really talented craftsman and so forth in a watchmaking thing. I had gotten a letter from an email from the head of Urban Jurgensen, and I think he was a little miffed because I gave so much credit to Derek Pratt, who was the watchmaker. He was a watchmaker there for 30 years, and he was going on that forgot what the guy who hired him, forgot his name was. He's a pretty cool guy too. But it was sort of like, well, we want our history not around that, blah 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 blah. And I thought, man, what a jerk. I don't mind being corrected on stuff, but on the other hand, uh, you know, you've got to find out where the real, key element, I think, in a watchmaking thing. You take Patek Philippe. It was started off, and you guys know this, but it was Patek Philippe was Patek Chapek. Chapek left, and then now he's come back again, or at least the name has come back. And so he hired Philippe, and Philippe was a watchmaker. And so whereas Patek was the business guy of it. And I think sometimes we totally ignore the business guy uh, who really makes things happen. And at least people like me, especially, give all the credit to the watchmaker. One exception to that is Pascal Raffi and Beauvais. I mean, here was Beauvais was, dead in the water as far as, making any kind of quality watches until he came along. And he came along with a huge amount of money and was able to, create Demier 17 something or other, which was really a collection of companies that he put together who were nothing but watchmakers. And then he brought together the people who it was the Beauvais 1822. Now, when I think of the modern Beauvais 1822, all credit goes to Pascal Raffi. Whereas some of the other ones, I'll push all the credit to the watchmaker. In the case of Urban Jurgensen, I sort of see the revival of Urban Jurgensen in Derek Pratt. This isn't taking anything away from the management, the CEO and so forth, but I don't think you can diminish that. Hi, Field Chaser. Um, oh, it's frying pan time. Oh, it is. Okay, guys, I gotta go. Thank you all for coming. Hey, Dominic, let me see. Stephen, interesting if you enjoy it, all that matters. Dominic is right. He knows of which he talks. And everybody stay safe. Especially you guys from India. Apparently, it's getting crazy in India, the COVID-19 pandemic. The rest of us, I think, have, still got to wear the stupid mask, but, better that than keeping the crud around. So everybody stay safe and get your shots if you can. And if you're interested, I'll see you this afternoon. Otherwise, take care and be safe.